Hello, everybody. What is going? Okay, I thought the song was gonna start again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. Everyone, welcome. It's on a Monday. We're doing a Monday cast. Everybody's got a case of Mondays in here. Speaking of which, I'm your host, Pat Navarino. With me, as always, is my co-hosts Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. Everybody give them a round of applause because, man, did they fucking suffer this week. Am I right, guys? Did you or did you not?
Oh, I'm suffering every day. My goddamn life.
I suffer every day. I suffer every day.
I'm
yeah.
suffering right now.
So quick overview, some housekeeping stuff. If you like this, whatever we're doing here, hit the thumbs up.
With that
There you go. Hit that. And then, yeah, subscribe to this channel if you like what you see. I feel like I'm really loud right now. I feel like I'm really loud all the time.
If you don't like what you see, tell us why in the comments, and we'll change it. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Please.
And then we'll block you.
We'll send you some fun pictures that Nick has been looking up.
You can join our mailing list of Rule 34 hentai. All right.
Subscribe to our Christmas card.
News, boys. We got some news this week, okay? Settle down. Jesus Christ. Trying to host a show here. All right, so we got Cyberpunk news, which is always fun. Am I right? What is it this week, though, boys? They canceled multiplayer. Yeah, they fucking canceled multiplayer. Well, all right, let me go through what it actually is. I'll start from the top. So pretty much Cyberpunk came out and saying that they're changing their marketing strategy, which, like, any manager, anybody at the grunt level, like a QA team was like, yeah, they should change that shit. So even then, my first thing was maybe don't show your proof of concept as your first trailer 4 years before you even start making the game. That would be my first note. To
You're going.
What's done is done.
Base level. Yeah, Pat, this is
like
crimes of our fathers.
That's maybe where I would start out. You know what I mean? Hey, if you could do it again, here's what you shouldn't do first. That's what you should not do first.
Let's look forward, not backwards here, Pat.
Oh, well, sorry. I guess, not in that spirit. My next note was make game first, So
before you start selling it.
Well, this is actually a bigger point.
Keanu Reeves.
Right. This is actually a bigger point that I've had with publishers and developers right now in general, is like every single game that was supposed to come out this year is getting delayed to next year. And obviously that's coronavirus. That's pandemic. There's nothing really you can do. Everybody's working from home. They might not have the same computing power. Either way, my point is that how about you don't announce your game years before it's supposed to come out, and then when you get 2 months before it's supposed to come out, hit us with a year delay. How about don't do that? That's it. 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months is all you need to get me ready for a game.
Just work on the game. Don't tell everyone, hey, Keanu Reeves is going to be in the game and it's going to be awesome. And then meanwhile, the developers are sitting behind them like, we're not done yet. We haven't even done anything with Keanu's part. Like, nothing is done.
Well, exactly. And
we really need to up the cocaine budget. We got to get this job done. Like,
I don't know anything about game development. To say that I do would be a fucking lie. Okay? But for the love of God, please stop fucking announcing games before they're ready. It just makes yourself look worse.
I say no more marketing for any games. Drop it.
Yeah, just put it out.
Just drop
if it works for Beyonce, it's good enough for me.
No more marketing for anything. I just want to be surprised every day. And
Exactly.
So
it's like
actually,
when Netflix drops some new show that they haven't talked about at all, and it was just like, oh shit, Netflix has this new great thing.
Good. Actually, I think they're already listening because they did say in this article that they're going to wait till games are closer to launch for them to start a marketing campaign. Once again, I thought this was like business 101. Have a product before you try and sell it to somebody.
However, they announced this game, like 12 years ago
2000,
or something like
2012 is when the first trailer came out.
So they really got to define closer to launch because they have 12 years of just poor management.
They got to
really got to narrow this gap.
The next thing is managing expectations. Well, no shit. Ain't that just a kick in the teeth, huh? managing expectations on literally the most hyped game ever. Like,
Dude, my favorite thing is how, like, in their, like, you know, stepping back on how they're managing the expectations. Quoting, previously we hinted that our AAA would be a multiplayer cyberpunk game, but we've decided to reconsider this plan given our new, more systemic and agile approach. Like, you just fucked it up. You're not doing a new approach.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you really had much of an approach beforehand. Therefore, there can't be a new approach because there was no old approach. It was
already spent all the money, so you're not like, getting this half of the game.
The fact that there is not like any more like buzzwords like synergy and, you know, like things in that sentence that
quality control.
Yeah.
Lying. Maybe don't lie to people. All right, actually,
well,
and
technically, I just want to say they technically did make a game for PC and literally no other console. Was it a good game? No, but they technically somewhat completed it on PC.
Well, it's funny, actually, going off of what Nick just said about how, like, we already spent the money. So it turns out CD Projekt Red says that because of no other reason but their own fault. That's what it is. All right. I'm not even going to say because of X, Y, and Z. It's because you made the situation that you have, that this game is in, and that this whole community around this game is in. They're saying that they're reconsidering the multiplayer. So that means it's canceled. So that's not coming out. And they're saying because, you know, they want to readjust like their dev times and be able to get it's just all fluff. It's just you fucked up launching this game and now you want to dedicate all your resources to fixing it and save as much face as possible. But even then, it's like me, I'm done. Like, I'm not going back to Cyberpunk. It's over. You know what I mean? And multiplayer, I would have went back for. That's the ironic part here.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I had no idea there was even going to be a Cyberpunk multiplayer. I pushed this game out of my head. I had no clue there was even going to be a multiplayer component, which honestly, in my eyes, CD Projekt Red shot themselves in the foot even talking about the multiplayer. Just don't bring it up, and you can't fail anymore in people's eyes. Like, people are done talking about the game. Now you bring up that there's no more multiplayer. It just gives people more of an excuse just to be like, oh, CD Projekt Red just fucked up again.
Danny, I think you just got yourself a job at CD Projekt Red.
I could totally see.
What should we do?
Start Monday.
Keep your mouths shut.
I could totally see in a few months, like after he's hired by CD Projekt Red, it's just that lonely guy on the stool as the light opens up. He's just like, hi. My name is Daniel Kilkenny, and today I'm here to apologize for the current state of Cyberpunk.
He's holding a newspaper with today's date on it.
Who knew that hiring a guy off of something you heard on a podcast could make this any fucking worse?
Also, I hear Matt Gaetz is looking for a new press secretary, too. So.
True. You can get a job with Matt Gaetz right now. He seems to have positions just opening up left and right, you know?
I'd like to point out.
Here we go.
Like
it's the uncharted territory.
Yeah, right.
Go for
my favorite comment on one of the articles I read was on IGN by the Crotch Conqueror. That said,
That's a great name.
Hey,
yo,
great
IGN
name.
has great message boards. I just discovered them today.
Can we get some type of drop for the Crotch Conqueror?
The Crotch Conqueror.
Then that's mad luxurious.
And he said they took the Bethesda approach and said our community will just fix it with mods.
Like, yeah.
You know that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, we just talked about what happened with Grand Theft Auto. Not out of their own possibility, but once again, that also took them 9 years to get to that point. So, moving on though, boys, we all have Netflix, right? Of course we do, right? Who fucking doesn't? It's like basically comes with the internet now.
I only have Apple TV. Exclusively Apple TV.
I watched Ted Lasso on VT.
Well, Nick.
That's where the mustache is from.
Nice.
Well, that being said, Nick, you're out of luck since you don't have Netflix. However, Knives Out, the two sequels to Knives Out, have been bought by Netflix for distribution rights.
And the names are going to be Knives Outer and Knives Out Est.
Just taking
Actually,
a diehard
Knives-
approach.
It's gonna be Knives Innie.
That's what
And
I
then
was gonna
Knives
say.
Outie.
Knives innie and then knives outie.
Okay.
Well, so here's
or forks out and spoons out.
Spoons in.
Spoons in.
Pinky.
Spoons to the left, spoons to the right.
Pinky.
Pinky. Anyway, they bought it for $450 million. Like that is.
Nice.
I mean, that's also just.
All right, now you're going over the top here now.
Okay.
What one use of one drop, Pat?
Nice.
Someone take the soundboard away from me.
Nice.
Never. So anyway, my point with this was that the last one of these was only made for $40 million. And, you know, since it was so cheap and it was so well liked, it made a lot of money. And like ratio wise, it only made like 320 million,
Yeah.
like 310 around there at the box office, like international and US. So Netflix was just like, yeah, this is worth $450 million for these next two sequels. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. These movies don't come out in the theaters, so there isn't that, you know, raw conversion rate. It's subscription based, you know what I mean? And Netflix is just a fucking company to load debt on at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're technically not
Seriously.
profitable yet.
They've never
Well-
been profitable.
They're buying theaters, right?
Are they?
Are they?
Are they?
I think they are. I think Netflix is
Are
buying,
they?
you know, like
Jack.
brick and mortar theaters. At least they were in talks to at some point this year.
Interesting.
Fact
Would
That-
you go to I'll do some searching on the back end while you continue to chat.
What do you mean
That's
on
all
the
I've got
back
to
end?
contribute.
I can't find anything.
You're
recent.
on the
Basically,
internet,
I'm
Mike.
hacking
You're
into
on,
the mainframe
you're
right
on
now.
Guys,
the
I'm in.
front
I'm
end.
I mean, I've got an article from September of last year saying the CEO says the company won't buy movie theater chain.
Oh, damn
Ah,
it.
God
That,
damn
I mean,
it.
that would be like
That would be so sick.
that'd be so awesome to go to a Netflix movie theater.
Dude, like the whole point of Netflix is I don't have to leave my ass out of my bed.
Well, at one point, the point of Netflix was getting DVDs in the mail. They can change their business model.
The
Yeah,
point
but it was still you were
po-
getting
post offices used
were
to
getting
deliver
it
things
sent.
on horses.
And
But, like,
fucking
also,
don't
you were getting it sent to you. It
don't
was
forget
whether DVD or
GameFly.
streaming, it was just
Ooh.
getting sent to you.
Yeah, oh
That
my
was the
god, I
whole point.
forgot GameFly.
Yeah, they tried bringing GameFly back, didn't work out.
It's like the XFL.
Well, hey, the pandemic fucked
I
they,
still have hope.
the pandemic fucked them up the second time. And now didn't The Rock buy like 80%? So it's basically
I
the
think
He
the
did.
Rock's football league now. All right,
Rock FL.
still.
Hey, do you guys want to go on an XFL tangent? Because I have my own concept for XFL.
I'd fuck it, go for
Go
it.
for it.
Let's go.
So picture football, but instead of it being a perfectly flat field, there's like hilly terrain and rocks and trees growing up.
I'm in.
And it's like that's extreme, you know.
Yeah,
like, maybe
yeah,
you
bro.
can tackle somebody.
Every-
but are you gonna get like? Are you gonna fall into like a
A
boulder?
ditch, a ditch,
Every
a
option was
sharp
to
rock.
break
At the bottom?
everybody's ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
There's
like,
a lot of
different-
paperwork involved.
Oh yeah, and like different parts. It's not just like rocky terrain, but then there's like a Sahara part where
Yeah.
it's just like 110 degrees, and then there's the frozen tundra like on the other side of it where it's
Yeah, like the
minus
50-yard line is the worst, and like the closer you get to the end zone, it gets nicer.
the 50-yard
Yeah.
line's like a demilitarization
Yeah,
zone.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
trenches
exactly.
and stuff.
And they can use
Yeah.
live firearms on the field.
We release like just some like coyotes that just roam around.
We don't feed them.
And if you don't beat the game in a better personal time than the teams that played before, you don't win shit.
What you guys are describing is the Hunger Games. That's what Nick
Exactly,
just
I mean-
conceptually came up with.
And just for the hell of it, cicadas.
Everywhere.
Just because
Yeah.
they're a nuisance.
The halftime show is a plague.
It's either frogs or locusts.
Whatever's in season.
Or we kill your children.
Oh, okay, all right, all right.
Oh,
You know,
right.
all right. All right, listen up, Wayfair. All right, we don't need all that shit over here.
Wait,
Uh,
there goes our Wayfair sponsor.
So,
Oh.
so yeah, Knives Out is going. Knives
Oh,
Out
yeah,
2 and
that's what
3
we're
is
talking
going
about.
to
Let's
Netflix.
like at the XFL league.
It
there
was
will
the
be Knives Out
largest
2 and 3.
streaming. It was the largest streaming acquiring ever in this industry, and yeah, Ryan Johnson made The Last Jedi, and Nick doesn't like that.
So I'm
And
happy about this
Looper.
acquisition because maybe Ryan Johnson will forget about Star Wars and not come back for his trilogy.
He's like,
He
oh, I'm
officially has
stuck.
something else to distract.
Yo, I like Looper, and you guys have seen Knives Out, right?
Yeah,
I
still
have
haven't.
not
I
seen
have to.
Knives Out.
You should.
Oh,
It's
highly
fucking
recommend it.
awesome. Highly
really good.
highly recommend it. What's his name
Great
said
history.
he's coming back. He's being a sleuthy boy. What's his name?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. There we go. That's
Which,
the one.
I mean, considering though, like, you know, this isn't a spoiler or anything, his part really wasn't massive in the movie. You know, like he wasn't like the main central character. But either or, every scene he was in, he just stole the scene. He was amazing. So
Wait,
I mean,
I
just to get a
thought
little
he was
serious.
the star. Is he
No.
not?
He's like he's like second billing compared to the maid, right?
yeah, exactly,
Wow.
exactly. He's
Literally everything I've seen about this has been Daniel Craig. Daniel
Well,
Craig.
because he's awesome in it.
because he's
Yeah,
amazing
dude.
in it.
Yeah.
He's a
Dude is
supporting role,
fantastic.
but he's amazing in it. But it's I still 450 million. That's more than the first movie made. I mean, for the next 2 sequels, it's just
But think
crazy.
about
It's
it,
just
that's a-
Netflix has gotten to the point where they're just too big to fail now. They're just kind of throwing money.
Uh,
They're just
I can't wait for the
throwing money.
recession where we gotta
Be
bail
careful.
out Netflix.
Somebody's
That's the
knocking
thing.
on
That's
Netflix.
the thing. They're at this point where it's just like more debt, take more debt. Then all of a sudden
Yeah.
they go out of business. It's like
When the
oh,
bubble
bail out.
fucking bursts
go.
in 10
But it's
years.
the good kind of debt.
when-
Apple will just be like, I'm gonna buy all the rights to your content.
Well,
and,
that's
you know,
what I was
big
gonna
ol'
say.
fuck
When
you to
the
Hulu.
when the bubble bursts in 10 years, instead of them bailing out banks, they'll be bailing out streaming services this time.
Exactly.
and
What
different
else is gonna
YouTubers.
entertain our,
Oh, and like Uber
country?
Eats and all that shit.
God damn it.
All the subscription services.
All
they're
this
gonna get bailed
gig
out.
culture that everybody's got so
And
much
you know
of.
who's not gonna see a dime? The drivers, the delivery guys.
God damn it, this show sucks already. So either way,
We can't get away from the politics somehow.
yeah. Okay.
People are here
So in a really unironic turn of events, Spotify has acquired Betty Lab to focus on live streaming content, specifically sports radio. Like,
You mean the Joe Rogan show?
yeah, isn't this
specifically the
aren't
XFL.
we going in reverse now? Like,
Here's the best part. This is a quote from Spotify. This acquisition builds on our work to create the future formats of audio and will accelerate Spotify's entry into the live audio space.
yeah, this is just what I feared. He
Radio.
doesn't know what radio is. Yeah.
It's radio, future formats of audio. I mean, look, radio's been around for years. It works. Like, it's like, hey, good for you, Spotify. You want to get into radio now? By all means, go for it. But don't not call it radio. That's just what it is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's just the continued reinvention of everything that is, you know, we hate cable, so we're gonna make 20 different cable subscription services on their own.
Yeah.
We're moving into the exact same model now with a
But
lot
it
of audio.
doesn't account for the comeback of Dunkaroos, Mike. Okay, and that's
Well,
what we're missing.
Don't. That'll make me so upset. Don't bring it up.
They're so sweet now.
You
They
can
are.
get
They
them
changed
in
the
Canada.
recipe. They're
Doesn't
so
radio
sweet.
imply that it's you're being sent by radio waves, right?
Are you really gonna do this?
Digital radio is not sent by radio waves. I know that's digital radio, but
Like, you mean Sirius satellite radio?
I mean
Does that
satellite
count
radio
as
as
digital?
well.
So
radio.
like with the term radio,
I think that's
like,
microwaves.
how do you want to define radio? Is it just like broadcast audio?
I say live broadcast audio. That's how I.
So
sort of
it doesn't
define
matter what medium it's being sent by,
Yeah.
right?
Technically, radio is just the transmission of audio
Yeah, I feel like
by
radio.
by radio waves.
I feel
actually,
like
so-
radio
Actually,
was the
yeah.
term that was
Yeah.
adopted. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
It's like
it's an all-encompassing term now. But either or, Spotify's doing radio now. However, what's actually great is Burke. You mentioned this last week that now they're also going to be doing live concerts, which I mean that's cool. That's really cool to be able to just go like I don't know how it's going to work if like you have to then buy to go see that concert or they're just going to be certain concerts that are just available on Spotify.
Well, I'm
sure
sure
we
there'll be
both-
some shit that's like, oh, John Legend, Adam Levine, Christina Aguilera,
Marshmallow.
the
yeah.
free one night event telethon. We're stronger than the storm. Like there'll be that shit up there. You know what I mean?
I love the different routes you guys went. It was John Legend, Christina Aguilera, Marshmello,
Dead Mouse, Skrillex.
The only thing, like, while
Lil
and
B.
it's interesting, like that was my aspirational, like, oh cool, they're gonna do live concerts, and then I was just realizing, well, you can't make money anymore selling records because Spotify kind of ruined that. So let's do concerts, and then like, oh shit, Spotify's gonna ruin concerts as an income source.
Well,
for
okay,
musicians.
let's not blame Spotify directly for ruining
I
record
will
sales.
Not blame Spotify by far,
but they don't help at all.
Yes.
It's more like the internet and the business model they built the industry off of just eroded out from underneath them, and they weren't quick enough to adapt. And now you have a whole generation who grew up on not buying music. So it is now worthless. Either way, the other thing I actually thought about was the Spotify at this point, I think, needs a video on demand app. Have you guys ever tried looking up Rogan's show on Spotify?
I actually haven't.
It is a fucking mess. It is a
right
mess. You look up his show like any other like audio that you wanted to look up on there.
Mhm.
As soon as you get to it, right, then it'll pop up. Like, you know how it does the album artwork? It'll do that with the video for the show. And you can't watch that video any other way. If you do it on the desktop app, right, it'll pull up like a small window video player, right, that you can pretty much take around with you as you browse through Spotify, right? And then you can make it full screen. It's just, they need to expand on that. That's what I think they need to go for. Like, yeah, going into live sports broadcasting, there's shit tons of money in it, and you know that it's a system that works. You're literally just buying to eventually get a good a good return on your investment,
ROI,
a good
yep.
ROI, right? I was gonna say ROS, but that doesn't mean anything. But what I think, if they really want to change the game,
Good try.
is get into the VODs, get into video content, open up a competitor to YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I think
really
I think
interesting.
that's a really good idea.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is where they'll make their massive millions of dollars. And like I said, it's a different playing field than it was 10 years ago on YouTube, you know, where it was pretty much just the Wild West. Hey, if you get a lot of views, we don't care if you're like, you know, spreading conspiracy theories. Just, you know, here's a bunch of ads. Here's how we'll make a whole lot of money. The rules are already defined for you. You know what I mean?
And what's funny is like I haven't looked at Joe Rogan since he went on to Spotify. So like I'm just watching whatever his latest episode is now. The quality is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like the quality is solid. I mean,
Yeah.
if they can figure out how to get VODs and ads,
The
I
only-
think they could actually really
The only
work.
difference, though, now with Rogan specifically, is that their shows are not live anymore. All of their shows are pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So
Is that due to COVID, or is that just due to?
that's due to moving to Spotify. He's got nothing to
Moving to
broadcast to. So
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
Uh,
right. Yeah, you can't.
Until now.
In my head, there was some like, I was like, oh yeah, you can just do a live broadcast on Spotify, and no, that's not a thing.
No,
Nope.
that's why Spotify
Wrong
bought this
again.
company.
Right.
That's why they bought this company, so then they could have the technology rather than make the technology themselves. Buy someone who came up with the technology.
yeah,
and
Hey,
just-
that's tech, baby.
that's Silicon Valley.
Figure it out.
Your
Exactly.
your
Exactly.
company gets
That's-
acquired for hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah.
boom, cash out.
So
But no, I think it is a good idea if they switch to VODs. The only thing is, though, I mean, Spotify came up as just an audio service where people just sort of put Spotify in, put their phone down, and they're just listening. I think it's going to take a lot for people to eventually start watching VODs on Spotify.
get good content.
Hey.
That's what Quibi missed. Like, I mean,
Yes.
one of the biggest missed opportunities Quibi had
Quibi missed
was getting young YouTube creators to get on their platform and make content. Somebody tweeted the week Quibi announced it was failing. They tweeted, "Why didn't Quibi just get in touch with Mr. Beast and just give him a bunch of money? You would have had
Yeah.
plenty of people on that platform."
Dude, yeah. If you
Mr.
took
Beast's
YouTubers,
manager fucking replied to that tweet and said, "We tried. They didn't want to have us." They were like, "Yeah, this guy who's blowing up right now, we don't need him." Like, they
Dude,
fucking
Quibi was
really
a
did that.
$1 billion investment.
Yeah. Yeah,
$1
the
billion. Like they had
Yeah.
the money to be like, here's $15 million for Mr. Beast. Like,
Yeah, they had it.
And they tanked so quickly. so
Well,
quick.
they,
Yeah,
they
They
just put
launched
so
in,
much
like,
stock. They just thought because Jeffrey Katzenberg, like he just was like, well, I have access to all these, the Hollywood elite. That'll bring in the eyeballs, but
No.
it didn't
No.
really work that way.
All
Especially
right.
like no one wants to watch it on a phone. Let me watch it on a TV. And they quickly
Well, they're
made
supposed
that
to be.
adaptation.
They're supposed to be. You can watch them
No, quick
vertically
fights.
or horizontally.
I understand. I don't want
And
to
it was
do
supposed-
that.
and it was supposed to be like you're on your way to work and you're just like sitting on the train and boom, here I can do.
Or
I can have
driving
this
to work.
Yeah.
not driving to
Or
work.
changing
All right.
my son.
All right. Oh, hold on. What the fuck? Hold on. Something happened.
Hold on, everybody.
Oh, we're
Look,
back.
bad radio
We're
was
back.
on.
We're back. We had something.
Good.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. That was weird. Oh, I
Hollow
hit the
Earth
refresh
interfered.
screen. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, Hollow Earth interfered. Yeah, let's we got one last thing to get through and then we'll get to that. Rick, I know you're pretty fucking eager to talk about this
He's
one.
getting
Huh?
itchy over there.
So last bit of news of the night comes out after after Snack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League came out. The DCEU Restore the Snyderverse. We're on our way. We'll get it to 1 million tweets. We'll have it our way, right? Wrong. They WB and DC came out and said that they're canceling the New Gods movie and they're canceling the Trench movie.
Oh shit.
So only one of those I'm upset over, you guys. I know that.
You really, really care about the trench, I know.
Yeah. No, dude, the fucking Trench was a God damn it. They had a good 6 minutes of a movie. It's like, oh, look, there's some tension. It's really bloody. There's some action. And they were like, let's make that a whole fucking movie. It's like, no, you never learn. You never learn, DC. You always have the worst fucking ideas. That being
For
said,
the people who don't know what the Trench is, do you mind just breaking down the Trench
Oh,
real quick?
oh.
Just everything
Okay,
great about it.
so go to
Do
YouTube, type in Aquaman 2018 Trench scene. They wanted to make a movie off of that 6 minutes. There you go. I also a while ago I did an editorial on upcoming DC movies, and I compared the Trench to the New Mutants. Has anybody heard about the New Mutants at all?
I've
Heard about it, haven't seen
heard
it.
about
Exactly. And when it finally did come out, it was supposed to be like horror meets superheroes, kind of like the Trench was supposed to be horror meets superheroes. Came out, it was terrible. I was like, I fucking called it, and they saw that shit and they canceled the Trench. All right, they fucking knew. Either way, though, I did want to see New Gods because I did want to see Apocalypse. I did want to see, after seeing the Snyder cut, I'm like all for, give me the desert movie and whatever else they were going to do in that universe. But more or less, what really kind of grabbed me about this story was the fact that the writers were actually able to publicly comment on Twitter about what they went through to get this movie made. And specifically, it was just long hours writing. But it seemed that through all this pre-production, they built a lot of strong friendships. They built a lot of strong relationships that they'll carry through their career. And DC was just quick to be like, all right, now that we got it out of our system, let's do it. Like, we're just going to cancel all the movies that were coming after that. And it
It took
sucks.
long
I feel like
enough.
I feel like it sucks because it seems like these guys worked really hard on this,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it did.
Hey, I'm sure they got paid.
Yeah, no, and here's the
Not
thing:
enough.
a lot of people work really hard on a lot of movies, and guess what? A lot of movies get killed. Like it happens. There's a change in mandate that they're moving forward with, and so
I get
Sorry.
it.
Yeah.
I do understand. I take it from like this clearly was like how Pat mentioned, like this definitely was a passion project for a lot of people. And you would think with it being in this universe and having a little bit of like kind of established footing that it might get taken off. Like I know what you're saying, where it's like a lot of people make some really cool indie movies that
established
just never
footing
turn into
is a
anything.
very forgiving term in this case.
That is that's a very generous term I'm using, but I get it. It kind of blows. It's that's what really got to me. Like when reading the article, I was just like, damn, these people
and of
are
course,
passionate.
like I fucking said the last show, this will never end now. It will never go away. What do you think the first fucking thing that came on Twitter as soon as they announced this? They're trying to kill the Snyderverse. They're like, we got to get together. Here's the times we have to tweet. It will never fucking end. It will never end. As so long as we do this show, I will never stop hearing about the Snyderverse movement. It will never fucking end. Okay?
I mean, here's
and you
the
want to know
thing,
why?
bro.
Because it comes up later on. And what the fuck we're talking about later on. All right? They somehow inserted themselves into this situation as well.
I mean, for all we know, this could just be part of a plan to move forward with a different Snyderverse. I don't know. Maybe it's just a change of direction. All of a sudden, they're like, no, we don't want to go this way. Maybe we can go this way. I have no idea.
I just want to see more Ray Porter
they're
as Darkseid. But keep going, Mike.
Maybe they're taking our approach and what we said about Cyberpunk, and they're just like, never mind, it's not happening. And then they're just like,
Exactly.
just fucking kidding.
Just take
Fade
it
away
away.
into the background.
Kidding.
Rip it away.
Kidding. All right, boys. Moving forward, though. This weekend, we watched Giant Lizard vs. Monke. Hooray!
That's the title in China.
I just got a text from somebody that said, "Can you give me a shout out so I know it's live?" So here's your shout out.
No.
Shut the
Who is
fuck
it?
up, bitch.
It's Justin. So
Hey, what's up,
So,
Justin?
boys, we watched Godzilla vs. Kong this weekend. And just right off the bat, let's just read some numbers real quick. Box office international, before it even opened here, 130 million. China made 70 million alone. That's absolutely insane considering the fact that, there
How
might
much
have
did
been
it cost?
there might have been a virus that came from them over here. Just saying.
Hey, let's not
How
get
much?
political.
How much did it cost to make?
I think I read 160 million.
Okay.
Not to mention in the US alone, in its first, okay, we'll get into the nitty gritty. In its first 5 days opening, that was its opening schedule, Wednesday to Sunday, it made $50 million. Now, that isn't really a lot at all, but when you consider the fact that this movie came out in the pandemic, and it's the first movie to do any type of numbers close to this, is incredible. Like, I would imagine Disney had a phone call this morning and was like, maybe we should just put Black Widow in theaters. Like, I would imagine those phone calls were had around Hollywood because this signals a lot of stuff. This signals the return for theaters. People are eager to go back to the movies,
Yeah.
with the vaccines rolling out. And listen, there is something to be said for the theatrical experience, because when we get into the reviewing the film, I had two different experiences. I watched it at home and I watched it in the movies, and it was two totally different things. Also, just for comparison's sake, this movie already made $250 million because that's how much Warner Brothers paid Legendary to just put it on HBO Max. Then this went out and it made an additional 286 million over international and domestic. So already the film is already a success. And by the time it's done with its theatrical run, it's estimated to make 400 million. So
crazy.
this thing is gonna.
I mean,
so if this
Hey,
thing,
just wait till they re-released it in 10 years. It's gonna make a lot of money.
Just wait till Netflix
To be the
buys
highest
2 and
grossing
3.
film of all time.
Yeah.
yeah, wait until it comes
Oh.
out again. So
Netflix is going to buy the MonsterVerse.
right off the bat, though,
Monkeyverse.
right off the bat, this is all celebration. This is good for everybody. The fact that everybody wants to go back to the theater, vaccinations are coming out, people felt safe. I felt safe enough to go to the theater, but I'm kind of disappointed because if this thing came out when there was no pandemic, this definitely would have broken plenty of non-pandemic specific records. Like, this thing would have been an absolute juggernaut of a box office movie. And this isn't.
You think so?
Oh,
was
I
gonna
think
say,
so.
You really
Be-
think so? I think it would be the opposite.
you
I
think
would
about
say
it,
probably,
no,
like, blended in the
no,
background
dude.
because it's not the only
I-
game in town.
That's the
Correct.
thing. This is the only big blockbuster that's really out right now. So of course, this is what people are when they're deciding
Right.
to go to the movies. This is what they're going to go see.
This
I think it'll
was-
still be successful. I don't think it's going to be this major.
This was
juggernaut.
supposed to originally come out in March of 2020, and then they moved it to November 2020, and then the HBO Max release happened. But you got to remember, the first Godzilla movie alone made $600 million at the box office. That's a lot of fucking money for a
didn't realize it made
kaiju
that
movie.
much.
The second Godzilla film didn't have as good a word of mouth, and it kind of lost steam in its second weekend because a lot of people were down on that movie, and that movie only made $386.6 million. Like this movie's already made more than the last one did by far. And I think that's because there is the inclusion of Kong. I genuinely believe, since this was a versus film, it had 2 giant IPs in it, and it had really good word of mouth. Like, regardless of how we felt about it, this movie did get reviewed well, and people liked it enough to go see it at the movies.
When you said it has good word of mouth, is that because of people want to see Godzilla and Kong, or was it because people want to see movie?
It's because people
are just kind of dying for big action movie. The people just want to see 2 giant monsters fight each other. That's
People
really
are
what
just
it is.
dying, aren't
Which
they?
I don't blame them for.
I wanted to see that. That's all people really want at this time is don't give me anything that's emotionally moving. Fuck you, WandaVision. Just give me 2 giant monsters going at it.
Oh, okay. So you admit WandaVision was emotionally
Big
Yoshi.
Yeah, big Yoshi, big Quan. All right. So I'm going to surmise, I think, all of our thoughts in non-spoilers real quick. You ready? Dumb but fun, mercifully short, and the fighting was good, but it was too brief. There you go. That's I think non-spoilers for everybody right there, huh?
Sure.
Does that sum it up?
That's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah.
Is it like, do you like watching giant monsters fight each other? Then yes, watch this. Do you like Oscar-worthy screenplays? Don't watch this.
Yeah. Overall,
it's simple.
Overall, I would say, as someone who grew up with Godzilla films, this is kind of disappointing. But at the same time, like, it does what it's supposed to do. You know, like it's not asking you to invest any more than, hey, we're just trying to get to the fights. All right, you coming or not?
All right, I'm gonna have to be difficult here. Why the fuck was there so many other dumbass plot lines going on? All I wanted to see was a monkey beat the shit out of a lizard.
Dude.
Why you got Millie Bobby Brown running around with Paperboy from Atlanta doing some dumbass fucking mission? It was so dumb.
No, you're completely right. Like, I've read, someone wrote, I think on Twitter, where it was like, you could skip the first 90 minutes of this film and just watch the big monkey fight.
So
like, pretty much. I mean, it was just like you had that storyline of them going after the CEO, and then you had like the CEO's daughter in the other storyline that was somehow some weird intertwining. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't care about any of you. I just want to see big monkey
But they
fight
also
big
don't
lizard.
ask you to care about them at all.
don't.
They
But then
give
why did they spend so
no
much time on it?
characterization. They give
Because at the
no
end of the day,
characterization.
They still need a character vehicle.
Yeah, they still need a point of view. You still have
even
to.
If they're, even if
Okay,
they're
but-
crappy Fiats, they just need some vehicle to get you there.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it, and I know we'll get like started into talking about it, but my biggest issue watching this, the amount of like bullshit sci-fi explanations for everything that they were just like, I'm gonna say it's this thing, and you just have to believe it, and that's why we're doing it.
There was
Like,
so many times.
Feel free to be impressed.
There was
in the
so
first 10
many
minutes,
times.
Alex Skarsgård just is like, what is like Hollow Earth is, we have cool energy, and then there's this gravitational
Actually,
inversion.
hold on, Burke. Let me just stop you right there because we're bringing up the Hollow Earth, right? Nobody here saw King of the Monsters, right? Nobody saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? In the middle of that movie, Bradley Whitmore's character is just like, is that his name? Anyway, he just goes,
So cool.
someone asks, how did Godzilla get there so quick? And he just goes, dude, I'm telling you, it's the Hollow Earth, all right? He's using subterranean tunnels to get from one side of the Earth to the other, right? Nobody was like, stopped him and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everyone was like, oh yeah, you're probably right?
You know what?
And that was a big issue I took with that movie because I was like, we're just gonna let this fucking guy throw this out there and nobody's gonna question him. And then guess what?
Just trying to appeal to the QAnon crowd.
Yeah.
Like, we know who our audience is.
Yeah, and now in this movie they actually explain the Hollow Earth and they talk about how it's real, and it, like, I don't want to say it makes complete sense because it doesn't, but also I think it was done well enough so that Q people could be like, yo, they actually got footage of this shit in this movie. Like,
yo, they went down there and they went into the no, dude, like
This
it was
found footage of Hollowed Earth.
It's just it was just such bad storytelling. I felt in that way, where it's just, there was there's a hollow Earth, but then there's a massive gravitational field. Why does that just not implode the hollow Earth?
Well, so I jumping ahead a little bit. I love how it's like they had to get their ship and go through that gravitational shift thing, only for later on in the movie, Godzilla just blasts the hole straight through the fucking core of the Earth.
Dude, and then, Nick, to that exact point, how come he can do that, but he can't just instantly decimate every other monster?
You guys want to know what's crazy?
This dude can cut the Earth in half, but he's just like, I'm just gonna burn.
I like in that scene how they're both looking down the hole at each other.
Yeah. Everyone's looking down. They're just seeing each other.
Both of them are looking down the hole.
In that scene, Godzilla was looking thick. I don't know what they did, but he was looking like all of us 8 weeks into quarantine at the beginning. He was looking thick.
It's funny you say that because it's funny that you say that because they actually slimmed him down. Like, this is the second time they've slimmed him down.
They put him on Weight Watchers.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was looking chonky. He was round.
They buffed the shit out of his speed though for the fights. I guess.
What was he at? Like an 8? They brought him to a 9.5.
No, he was at like a 4 before. Now he's easily at like an 8. Like they were just like, yeah, let's just make him faster. Like that's pretty much what they did.
And just taking those agility classes.
So
he's doing coke.
What I do? Godzilla coke.
Imagine those mounds.
That's in the hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. That's what they wanted to go down and get the energy. It's just cocaine.
So does anybody have like a structure to this conversation, or are we just throwing?
No, we're just spitballing. We're just spitballing.
The notes I have for this.
Yeah, I think I do have.
There's no structure.
I do have some notes.
Gonna have no structure.
I do have some notes on the theatrical experience though. Of seeing this.
About that. Yeah, talk to
okay.
Me about what it was like to actually be in a movie theater again.
First thing, I watched this movie on Wednesday when it was on HBO Max, and I watched it and I was just like, this is not as offensive as the last one. However, I kind of hate it. I went to the movies though on Saturday to see it, and I went and saw it in IMAX, and I went to the biggest fucking screen I could have went. I went to Jersey Gardens, Danny, in Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And
big ass screen.
So I went there. First of all, hats off to AMC, okay? Because they made sure everything was nice and safe. Everybody was spread out, just like the seat 6 feet at least between everybody. The movie started, and the first thing I thought of was, am I ready for this? Like, I haven't been inside of a movie theater for over a year at this point. Like, are my senses ready for this shit? Pretty much. Jesus Christ, Nick. And as it started, the first thing that got pointed out to me was the sound. It is so much fucking louder than anything you've heard in your life is inside of a movie theater. Okay.
And specifically, you went to an IMAX.
I went and saw this at an IMAX. I went from 0 to 100. Like, I didn't work my way out to IMAX. I went straight in there. So I will say this. Watching it on the TV, I didn't think the visual effects were all that good. Seeing it in theaters, I was like, all right, this is a whole different animal. Also, there was no cell phone service the second time I saw it, like none at all. So I couldn't just dive into my phone to get away from the plot for a bit to like get to the monster fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Oh, I couldn't just look away at my phone.
So I had to like you guys don't understand.
I took fucking 4 naps.
Like, you guys don't understand. I was looking at my phone for an escape, and it would just say no service, and I'd be like, all right, well, I might as well just pay attention. Let's see what's going on. And
like you're reading the shampoo bottle in the bathroom.
Yeah, I did pick up on more things the second time than I did the first time, but then I realized this is not one of those movies that you need to watch twice to pick up on things. It's because I was so disconnected from what all of them were doing at all times that I didn't give a fuck really until the monster fights happened. So, that said though, theatrical experience overall positive. The mask policy was okay, except these fucks right to the left of us. As soon as you're allowed to take off your mask to eat your snacks, by all means, go for it, right? However, when you're done eating your snacks, put that fucking mask back on, okay? And these fuckers to the left of me didn't do it. And that was
What kind of snacks did you have?
Oh, we didn't get snacks, so I just brought bottles of water in. Yeah.
No.
That was it. I
I
just
would
snuck
die
in
for
water.
movie theater
That's all it was.
popcorn.
I know, or snow caps.
Snow caps in the
Snow
popcorn.
caps.
Bunch of crunch.
Bunch of crunch in the
All right,
popcorn.
I know I'm in the minority usually, but do you guys like Raisinets?
Yes,
I like
Nick.
Raisinets.
Okay.
I like
I usually get fucking crucified for liking Raisinets.
You know what?
You
Up
want
until
that fruit
until
with your
At
candy.
the movie theater.
loud.
Uncouth.
I wrote too loud in some parts. I was
Too
like,
loud.
Jesus Christ, can they turn this fucking movie down?
Were
And
you
then
like going up to the booth, like, excuse me,
Excuse
can you just
me?
bring it down a bit.
well, it reminded me of that when we went and saw what the fuck's that movie called? The one we're out in Switzerland and I'm the May Queen. What's that one?
Midsummer.
Midsummer. There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
What-
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. Yes.
That's Nick McFly's response
When-
to everything.
Knives Out.
when we
Killing
saw
movie ever.
Midsummer, it reminded me of when I went out to the fucking when I went out to I was like, hey, the projector's broken. There's like a blue hue over the screen. She was like, well, it's actually a horror movie. It's supposed to look that way. And I just went, hey, look, no, it isn't. That the whole point about this movie is that it's supposed to look like. And then finally I just stopped and I was just like, oh, someone said this to you before and you just can't fix it. There's nothing for you to do. So I didn't want to go out there and be like, hey, this shit's way too fucking loud. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing those people can do.
It's how IMAX is mixed. We've done work allegedly with certain companies and have maybe had done some mixing there, but yeah, dude, when I went and saw some of the stuff that we've done with that, like I've had to wear ear protection. Like I've literally brought like those concert in-ear things
Yeah.
because the movie was so goddamn loud.
Yeah, no, I didn't notice how much damage it was probably doing to my hearing previous to this. But look, so let's just wrap it up real quick. Everybody thinks that the story is a non-starter. There's nothing to critique about it because there's nothing there. As a matter of fact, what even is there to podcast about? However, there is one thing we have to talk about in this movie, and that's the fights, because that's what everybody was there for. So I want to get everyone's take on that because I thought they were awesome, but they were way too fucking brief. And I'm not about to get on this podcast and start picking apart the things I didn't like about the Godzilla movie. Because really, when you think about it, it's exactly what a Godzilla movie is supposed to be. You know what I mean?
I think we've already
Fights-
covered that. That's not
Yeah.
right. That your point there is wrong.
What?
That's not what I wanted in a Godzilla movie. I didn't want Millie Bobby Brown underneath Hong Kong. I didn't want the Hollow Earth. I wanted punching.
I don't
Biting.
need King Kong doing some sign language.
I didn't need a fucking, some stupid explanation from Mechagodzilla.
I mean, at the end of the day, the fights were brief, probably because they just didn't have the budget to make them any longer than they actually were.
Bro.
But for when the fights were there, they were awesome. They
Yeah,
were so
They were fucking cool. I thought the
And
boat one was
are
the
we getting into
best.
spoiler territory?
Yeah, just
Are
do
we-
it. Who
we-
cares? Nobody even
Okay.
cares.
I
at
mean,
this
there's
point.
not really anything that's
Yeah, there's
spoiler-
nothing to
Yeah,
spoil.
alright,
The
first-
fucking villain was spoiled in the trailer. Like, there's nothing to spoil.
Also, in the first 2 minutes of the movie, you see the eye. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. When the what's his name? Simmons said, I was like, oh, that's the bad guy right there. Immediately,
Yep.
I knew that's the bad guy.
And so, I mean, it was great. Like, I just loved the fight was really cool where they're in Hong Kong and they're just going at it. However, one thing that I feel like these movies don't fully touch upon is how many people are getting killed as these two.
Ah,
games
nah,
go.
nah, nah. They had the Batman versus Superman.
9/11s all at once.
They had the
Well,
Batman.
yeah.
Hold on. They had the Batman versus Superman logic. They dropped a line of dialogue.
Evacuate the city.
Yeah, exactly. They dropped a line of dialogue right before. Thank
How
God we
much-
evacuated
how
Hong
much money
Kong.
would it cost to rebuild fucking Hong Kong?
Wait,
Oh my
no,
God.
about this. When in the very beginning, when he attacks Apex in Florida, it mentions only 8 people died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we see 2 of those people die when Paperboy
Yeah.
is like, where are your credentials?
I mean,
That
They
is a
probably wouldn't even- they
shockingly
weren't-
low amount
Those
of
guys
people.
were probably not even in the official count because they
Yeah.
were in some secret fucking facility.
I will say,
8 people.
though,
That's a car
actually
crash.
about that Apex scene, I did like how they just started right off. They were just like, first 5 minutes, Godzilla's here. I'm like, all right, it starts off strong. It's all right, and then you get 25 minutes in, you're like, is it over?
Please get me to the
I'll tell you
next
what, though,
Godzilla
that's
scene.
actually one thing I do. If you want to critique this about, if you want to critique it in that sort of light, I will say this: the movie moves at a clip. It doesn't feel like 2 hours at all. It feels
no.
way shorter than it actually is.
I really think it.
It
And this is going to
it
be
benefits
counter.
from a shitty plot because it has such a short runtime.
But
or
I
other way
think-
around.
I think it's the opposite. I think if the movie legit was like, a 3 hour close to runtime, it feels like so much of this film was left on the cutting room floor.
Oh,
like,
yes.
expositionally,
Yes.
like they just didn't there was what's the dude's name? What's his Kyle what the hell, the dad, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle Chandler.
Dude, he does jack shit. in this
He's
film.
the protagonist in the last movie.
I know. Yeah,
And all
to
he
come
is
from
there for-
that to literally just be like, I'm, Millie Bobby Brown's dad and I'm not an absentee father.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm here
that's
for
literally-
the emotional scene at the end.
I want
Yeah,
them.
that's
I
about
wanted to see more of him. I was like, you were the only compelling thing about the last
Bring
movie.
back the Snyder cut.
If
But
this was a
I-
4-hour director's cut of
Um,
this movie, then
that
maybe
you
we
know
could
what,
talk
Burke,
it.
you're absolutely right, because I have heard quite a few times that the reason that this movie was delayed was because there is a 2.5 hour cut, because the last one, the first one was 2 hours and 5. The second one was 2:15. So this one would be 2.5. You have the audience's attention. You can get a little bit longer. And after the reception of the last one, Warner Brothers was just like, cut everything that everyone hates. Everyone hates the humans. Cut it down to minimal humans.
It
And
didn't even feel like they cut
But they
anything.
fucked
Like
that up.
they cut everything out, and it still felt like there was too much humans.
I
many
just
humans.
I have a different perspective because I watched the last movie. The last movie is worse in every way than this movie. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's as offensive because it knows
It's
what
not
it's
that
trying to
bad,
do.
though.
All right, so I
The
will
last
say
one-
this: they're juggling too many. Too many like humans. I didn't give a shit about a single character. It's like, had you just focused on 2, maybe 3 people throughout the entire course of the movie to show like how humans are affected by this big monster fight going on in the background, I would have been rooting for them. But I didn't give a shit about anybody.
That's the same
My-
logic Joss Whedon used for the Russian family in Snyder. I just want to let you know that you guys have the same wavelength. And-
My favorite part of the film, aside from the fight at the end, is in the very beginning when Kong is like waking up and he goes and showers. I was like, this is the intro to Shrek 1, and I'm here for it.
Shrek.
I was like,
A
he's gonna
body
take a mud
once
shower.
told me.
He's gonna pull a candle out of his ear, and when he like takes the tree and like takes all the branches off, I was like, he's going to get lunch. Like,
Holy shit! How did I not pick up
wait,
on that?
God damn it! What was I gonna say? For 1 second though, actually, Nick, while you're talking about how you wanted to see how these humans are processing like these giant monsters attacking, right? Now listen, I will never ever recommend Godzilla King of the Monsters to anybody who doesn't already want to watch it, who's not already interested in it. If you actually want to see more of how the planet, because like the last movie they tried to tell a story, this movie they didn't try at all. The last movie they tried to, and they had some interesting ideas, and they do talk about how the world has adapted to since these giant monstrous creatures have come about. They have like Titan shelters, they got them in like fucking big metal doors and shit. If that's what you're looking for, you check out King of the Monsters. I feel like they were just like, cut it all. They're just, fuck it, cut it all.
I'm not saying I need to see like all of humanity react, but like personal stories. But I think we glossed over. Can we talk about the worst mother in the entire world who brought her daughter to fucking Hollow Earth? in a fucking experimental anti-gravity ship.
I mean,
Yeah, this
she
might
was
implode
she
like
was
the
one
last
who could
one.
only speak the Kong.
Yeah, she was the one who could.
Right?
Yeah, I
She
feel
was
like
the
that
only
makes
one who
sense.
was able to
Yeah,
talk
that
to
makes her
Kong.
life worth
But
sacrificing.
We did not
Exactly.
even need Kong to get to Hollow Earth. It literally was like, oh yeah, that's a straight shot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It
Oh,
was the
there's this big
stupidest
tunnel over
fucking
here.
context. It was like, even on all of their like projections, in the very beginning where they show like the 3D imaging of Hollow Earth, thing in the center, bunch of straight lines going out.
Yep. It's just a bunch
Not
of
even
tubes.
squiggly.
And then they
Just-
get down
yeah.
there and then like, oh, we can just sample the energy field of this energy. We don't need to bring it back to the surface. It's like, well, the fuck? You could have done
All
that
right.
from up here.
Actually, let's get to the next part. Mecha Godzilla. Like I said, the worst kept secret in movie history. Everybody knew this guy was going to be in the movie. Now listen, I'm a Godzilla fan real quick. All right, I'm a fan now. They fucking wasted Mecha Godzilla. They fucking wasted.
I'm not a Godzilla
wasted
fan, and I
him.
agree.
I'm talking like that is the worst use you could have of that villain. That villain has to is supposed to be like a storied fucking villain in the Godzilla lore, and they were just like, yeah, let's throw him in the last 20 minutes. You guys saw Batman vs Superman, right? Yeah, you remember when they threw the thing in it? Yeah, let's do that too. Like,
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, they just had to now because they don't want to make either
Oh,
Godzilla
they-
or King Kong the bad guy.
they have-
of course, they got to shoehorn something else.
they
in there
have
for them to fight
franchises
against.
built into both of these characters. You know what I mean? Kong,
Over.
the because really this movie's like a Kong movie with Godzilla attached
Yeah.
to it. You know what I mean? But Godzilla has way more clout, hence why they pushed Godzilla first before Kong. But I mean, the thing that dawned on me while I was watching the movie, I was like, oh shit, that's supposed to be like King Kong. That's supposed to be like, that is the original ape in cinema. You know what I mean? And it made me think that like, oh, no wonder why he's the central character, because we've already proved we can sympathize apes. You know what I mean? Look at fucking Planet of the Apes, the original King Kong, all the remakes. He's a sympathetic character. So
Right.
now that they saw how well it works when you can push a story with him as opposed to the humans around them, I would not be surprised if that's the direction they go in. And I know we're all complaining about the humans specifically. Adam Wingard got on Twitter the other day and said that the next MonsterVerse movie, they should do no humans. He's like, just make it
Ooh,
make
I
it
like
2
that.
hours of just
I
the
like that.
monsters. And he's the director. He said the audience is absolutely ready for it. He's like,
And
just
I
do
mean,
monsters.
I feel like I got more human moments from the monsters than I did
Yeah.
with many of the humans. Specifically, and there's one thing I want to talk about when Godzilla and King Kong were going at it. Godzilla eventually knocks him down, has him up against the ground. Godzilla, mad respect to him, was like, I'm not going to kill you, but know that I can kill you, and I'm just going to let you go. I'm just going to walk away. That's that. And it was just, mad love, mad respect for Godzilla. Really shows his character. That's more character than Millie Bobby Brown was showing throughout the whole fucking movie.
Yo.
Or Paperboy, or any of them.
I love how just through the way that they look at each other, you can tell that they're having thoughts, and not just thoughts, they're having emotions about each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was watching this
There's
movie, I was
respect.
like, Godzilla is clearly communicating what he's thinking and feeling right now, and I don't like it. Like, this makes me so uncomfortable.
There is better acting in that film by a CGI lizard than most people.
There is
Well,
there is a
I
boundary
really
you do
enjoyed-
not
Thanks,
cross.
I really enjoyed the use of sign language, which usually I would kind of consider that a crutch to have, just like, there's a little girl who's deaf, like, just to kind of make you sympathize. But, there's so many, like, famous apes, like Coco had a friendship with Robin Williams, and they could communicate with sign language. I thought that was really clever. Why haven't we seen that before? That was really cool.
It was while it was cool, it was also just like, oh, okay, I guess he can talk in sign language. Like, I do understand. Yeah, I mean, it was one.
What
It
was
was one
that
of
learning
those just
process?
sci-fi. He loves the little girl. Like they're
Yeah.
best friends. So
The part where he
That's his
touches her,
daughter.
the part where they
Legally.
they ET, all
Yeah.
that ship had to do was jerk in the wrong direction, just splat, just immediately.
all he had to
Be
do
dead.
was have his heart beat one extra time and just the pulse. Like, push.
Dude,
Oh, speaking of heartbeat, can we talk about the CPR maneuver that they pulled out of that? What in the fucking world? Who thought thought of that.
I love the Chekhov's gun of like, yeah, this ship could power fucking Las Vegas for a week. Feel free to be impressed. And I was like, what a dumbass line.
The best-
And they brought it back, and I'm like, oh,
the best-
damn it.
The new
The
Pulp
best
Fiction
part-
like
the best
stabbing
part of
Kevin
the-
Efron in the heart.
The best part of that line was that because they were showing that line came at the introduction of this character that we're all supposed to hate. I was like, oh, that's just a bunch of bullshit. You know, I didn't pick up on it, right? So later on when Alexander Skarsgård, right?
Yeah,
he comes and he's like, can light Vegas for a week. I was just like, where the fuck did he get that from? What is he talking about? And then in the theater, when she says it the first time, I'm like, that's what they're pulling from? I was like, people are supposed to pay attention to that?
This is why you watch it twice.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, it's true. I mean, I gotta watch movies twice to even get the bare bones of the story, it would appear. Yeah, no, but the fights in general, going back to wasting Mechagodzilla, why? Like, why even have him in the movie? Just make the conflict between Godzilla and Kong. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, they don't want either of them to be the bad guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, but
they
Kong definitively lost.
The two guys that they're building the franchise off of. They don't want either of them to be the bad guy, so they have to come up with, this. Kong
definitively lost though.
They're both kind of the good guy.
Kong submitted. 100%. Kong submitted. Yeah. I mean, he got his arm torn out of his socket, and Godzilla could have just. I mean, I knew going into that movie, I was like, "There's one, they're not killing either of them because they're $100 million whales," and two, I was like, Kong is not winning. It's just not possible. He's just not as strong. Like the whole point of Godzilla is that he could take a beating and still come out on top.
Nuclear breath.
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
Like the way that they position Godzilla in this series to all of a sudden have him act as the villain, I was like, God damn it. It's just like they took everything from the last movies and were like, throw it in the bin. We'll just we'll make up some shit. You know what I mean? And the other thing was, I'm never clear, or I was never clearly communicated to me at least, did Apex purposely goat out Godzilla, or did Godzilla sense Mechagodzilla being created, and they were just like, oh, perfect, we'll use this opportunity, you know what I mean? Like, because
he had sensed Mechagodzilla because it was like, because they had used, what was the guy's Ghidorah or whatever, the Ghidorah, thank you. Yeah, because they used Ghidorah's skull, it was emitting like the Titan frequency,
right,
which is why they had Kong hidden so they wouldn't find it. It's like,
is another thing that pisses me off. Right, which is another thing that pisses me off. It's like they're still using the shit from the last villain in the last movie. Like, why? Why is that powering Mechagodzilla? I just fucking hated it. I didn't like that.
Kind of a cool plot device when it melted the tech guy. That was really.
Oh, you mean when they had the fucking After Effects lightning visual effects go down him? Like,
so not the effect, but the concept that it just fucking fried him and took over. I was like, all right, I'm on board.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was like the concept of like, the soul of this other creature now embodying it, and it's like, hey, it felt very Avatar-y to me, like all of like the military tech kind of changing, and we're using it for one reason. What
was I talking about before in regards to
Mechagodzilla?
Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting. That's right. That's right. Mechagodzilla sucks as a character. Excellent at math, though. He is great. All right. Hopefully, he won't be working as a janitor It's not his fault. But yeah, I think that they wasted that villain. I feel like I get why they went the way that they did to incorporate Mechagodzilla, but I feel like, all right, the movie's called Godzilla vs. Kong, right? So that's what people want to see, Godzilla fight Kong. That's what they're there for, right? And so I originally thought, because Godzilla is also notably shorter. Like, even though they beef Kong up, they made Godzilla shorter in this movie, for sure.
Victory for the short guys out there.
And they just
5'7" king.
And they just never address it. So, that being said, what I thought was going to happen when they're standing both on the aircraft carrier, which how the fuck does that science even work out? When they're standing on the aircraft carrier,
question.
We're jumping from aircraft carrier to aircraft carrier.
I thought that Godzilla was gonna fucking, when he got rocked in the face by Kong, it was gonna pull back some skin and you'd see some metal underneath. That's what I would have done. However, the problem then is that it's no longer Godzilla versus Kong. You know what I mean? It's Kong is fighting this guy who's pretending to be like Godzilla, and then the real Godzilla is gonna show up later in the movie and then kill the bad Godzilla and then be like later Kong. That it wouldn't be a real conflict. So I get why they went the way that they did. It just didn't work. I didn't like it.
That would have been a very traditional Godzilla movie.
Well, that's how,
and
that actually goes back. Yeah, that goes back to my point about how this really is just another Godzilla movie. Because one, the story is insane. Two, you're only watching it for the monster fights. And three, there is continuity, but there isn't in Godzilla movies. Whereas like they'll change his size, they'll change his color, they'll change the attacks that he can do, they'll change his powers. You know what I mean? And in this same movie, they did the same shit. In the last one, the guy could fucking basically detonate a nuke if he wanted to by the end of the last movie. And they just never bring that power up in this movie. Like, it never happened.
It takes a lot to power it up, you know?
So I get what they're going for. You know, the first movie in the trilogy was like a serious commentary on nuclear war and nuclear waste. I really liked it. Bryan Cranston was good. The second movie was like, hey, we're going to do an action movie and start a franchise. And the third movie was like, fuck it. We're just going to throw it all up against the wall and see what sticks. So, yeah, there you go.
And you know what stuff? Giant monster.
Now that's Godzilla's. That's Godzilla's son.
I want Son of Godzilla.
I want Son of Godzilla.
Look how cute he is.
All right. But yeah, either way, though, listen, I'm still on board. All right. I still want Godzilla 3, Kong 2. I want all of that. Give it to me.
If you can keep
how much
promising me
MonsterVerse
more
do you want?
cool giant monster fights, I'm all for it.
You know,
if we have, do you guys remember? Do you remember? I think YouTube used to have like back in like the Wild West YouTube. There was a channel that was like, watch a scorpion fight a tarantula.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like things like that. I would love to be like, we're just gonna watch 45 minutes of a high quality Godzilla beat the shit out of Mothra. Like,
dude, I want a BattleBots movie.
Yeah, man. Like,
and you want to know what, you guys?
So many buzzsaws.
This movie got great reviews. However, there are people out there review bombing it. Do you want to know why? Take one wild guess. Who could be review bombing this movie?
Because it's not going to be an entry in a whole universe?
Nope. Because it's not the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse fans took to the review sites and started to review bomb the shit out of this because they were like, no, WB is promoting Godzilla now. They must only promote Snyderverse. It's never going to fucking end, you guys. They're going to follow this studio till all of the current executives are dead and then follow their children. Zack Snyder will be dead and they'll still want a fucking Snyderverse movie.
We need Zack Snyder to make a movie about Michigan J. Frog, the singing Warner Brothers Frog, and then everybody will be happy.
I think it'd be hysterical if they have Zack Snyder do the next Godzilla movie.
Oh
That'll
my
piss
God.
him off even more. That'd be hysterical.
Thank you, Nick.
I mean, imagine how pissed they'd be. Oh, so we don't get the Snyderverse and superheroes?
So overall, just to wrap it up, because we're gonna move on to clip of the week. Look, I can sit here and I could pick it apart for what I wanted it to have as a Godzilla fan, and like, but really, it's not trying to do any of it. Yeah, there I am. That's me watching Godzilla. Yep, there, it's me. I could sit here and try and pick it apart for what it isn't and what it's not trying to do. But what it's trying to do is not bore the shit out of you till it gets to the action. And that I can at least respect it for that, even though it was not my cup of tea. Like, I don't plan on watching this again, besides for like finding nothing but the fights on YouTube and like rewatching those. You know what I mean?
If you have nothing else to do in the upcoming days and you like seeing a giant monkey and a giant lizard go at it, watch the movie.
Did you guys see that this movie's set in Hong Kong at the end? I fucking wonder why.
It's a message from the Chinese government to the people of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Fuck up.
We've got giant
Motherfuckers,
lizards.
don't get in line. We got giant lizards and giant apes. All right.
And robots.
Well, with that being said, any last words before I do the honors, boys?
Monkey.
All right.
Lizard.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
All right. We're here. We're at the clip. We've made it to this part of the show. Another
No.
successful show, guys. So let's celebrate.
He's always stressed me out.
This is footage of Alexander Navalny.
Wow. That was quite a reference there, Nick. But let's see it. Oh, that's a bear.
Oh, did I say Alexander? Alexei Navalny. My mistake.
Oh, that is a bear.
That's a big bear.
Oh boy,
Okay,
bro,
that's
what are you
Russian.
doing?
Very close to the bear.
Bro, what are you doing?
Ooh,
Oh no,
that's
no,
a-
no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no,
The bear, like,
no,
that's gonna change shit.
no, dude.
Oh my god. That dude is fast.
I mean,
Wait,
if
that's
you're
it?
If you're
That's
getting
it?
chased by a bear, I don't think you're running slow.
He doesn't get
Well, no,
mauled?
but I mean, bears are very fast.
Yeah, dude, you can't outrun a bear.
Oh no, I completely understand that, but
Yeah, but he took so much time. He could have took off way before that bear was trudging through that snow.
Look
But
at this.
yeah,
I love
honey,
this
there's
right
a-
here. He like shoves him off,
I love
and he
how
thinks he
his-
stands a chance, and then he turns around and he goes for it. He's just like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
I love
the
how
bear's just
fight or
fucking
flight-
coming at me. What am I supposed to hit it in the nose? Like, what do I do? Like, what is he doing on the phone?
Hang on, I'll call you right back.
He's calling animal control.
Yeah. I mean, I love how fight or flight kicked in, and at first was like, fight, hit him on the nose, and then that didn't work, and it was like, backup plan, flight, get the hell out of here.
Also, the fact that it's by like whatever is a Russian like mini mall.
Actually,
like, you know, a
can
strip
we
mall on the side of the
address that,
street.
Nick? Why are all the clips you bring into this show from Eastern European
Yeah,
countries?
seriously.
That's where all the good shit happens.
Everybody's got old cameras and a lot of bears.
Yeah. Oh shit! I definitely would
Oh,
have.
can
I would have
you
like.
go back? Can you go back to like the very beginning?
Sure. I can. I can do it just for you, Burke.
It's just for me. Yeah, like this dude's on the side of the road and hit play, and there's just
I just want to
Cars
take this
drive-
frame in for a second. Just
He knows-
this is
he
nothing
knows
but
he's
bad
well aware that
ideas.
That bear is there.
wait, hold on. Let's break the fourth wall. Who is filming?
The bear's
Actually, that's a
trainer.
good
I
point.
like how nobody is. Hey.
You should probably leave.
Dude, this is just such a commonplace thing in Russia.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
Yeah,
if
it's
a
just-
stray dog came up
Look,
to
it's
you.
outside like a fucking, shop right. Like,
My God.
Yeah.
Do you guys see the bear in the parking spot? Yeah, we just stay
Which
away
one?
from it. It'll be fine. Well, that's like when I called the we had a fucking coyote in our backyard, and I called the fucking the cops, and they put me through to animal control, and I was just like, hey, yeah, there's a coyote back here, so I don't know what you guys want to do about it. They were like, was it bothering you? And I was like, well, it's in my backyard, and it shouldn't be there. It's a wild coyote. And they just go, all right, we'll leave it alone and it'll be fine. It's like, no, I want you to come collect this thing out of my backyard.
Yeah, this guy's reaction to the bear is less like a coyote and more like a deer. When you're like, all right, just nature doing its thing.
Like,
It's
stop
reacting
it,
like
dear.
he's reacting like a
Stop
little
it.
kid is walking like just by him.
Yeah, it's like just being like a nuisance. This bear is nothing but a nuisance to the
Yeah.
guy.
Mike, I hope you don't smack children that walk by you.
If they 6 feet, social distancing.
That's
It's
what.
just a love
Stop it.
tap. It's a
Wait,
bop
wait,
in the nose.
Is there a dog barking in the background that I just picked up on?
Yeah. Yeah, but dude, it's Eastern Europe. Okay,
That's
there's
true.
there's
It might have
fucking
just been barking in
there's
general.
just wild dogs. There's people barking too, bro. All right, we don't know where this is. Pripyat. All right,
dog
they probably
barks
evolved
are-
to bark.
That's
They're
what the
bouncing
horns
off
sound
the
like.
brutalist cement buildings.
Whoa!
Oh.
I accidentally hit
well,
the intro. All right.
I guess Pat wants to end the show.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
guys,
sorry.
I'll
I didn't mean
shut
to.
up.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that.
No, I had a lot of really good things to say, but you clearly want to end the show. Fine.
Please, the floor is yours, Danny. Grace us with your wisdom.
No, you made.
Danny left.
Whoops.
They flat out kicked Danny out of the call.
I didn't know that you had the power to do that.
Neither did I.
I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Wait, what?
He's been shadow banned.
How do we get him back in?
Here, I just
I think
added
we just
him
end
back.
the show.
I just added him back. We'll see if he can come around.
Yeah, let's see.
but
Let's see. Oh my
he's gonna
God, you
come-
guys!
He's gonna come back in swinging. Is what's gonna happen.
Wait, in the live stream, he's just frozen.
Yeah,
He just
Yeah.
You've banished him to the
the Shadow Realm.
it's like in Superman.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, where he's just flipping through space. Oh
Let's
shit!
hopefully he
Alright,
picks
well,
up, because that would not be great. I wonder if the three of us are still set up with a trio from last week. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, we're right on.
It's Danny is unavailable.
Oh wow.
He's like, fuck this. I'm gonna go take a
Wow. Wow.
He's-
All right. Well, I got to figure out how to keep you from doing that. So
I won't try that again.
shit.
why try it while we're on the air?
Like Nick's like, big red button. Let me press this. What could go wrong?
All right. Well, I guess with that said, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. I'm your host, Pat Navarado, with me as always, or with me when he's gone now. Dan
spirit.
Kilkenny. Look at that still frame. Nick McFly and Mike Burke. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you next week. Yeah, we'll see you next week.